sure to check out Ageless Geeks for your figures and collectibles. So what is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil19 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Max Factory Good Smile Company FIgma Berserk Griffith. So let's get into it right away and take a quick look at the box. So we do of course get the basic style box when it comes to the Max Factory FIgma line. So we do get the order right there in the front of the box. On the top does say Max Factory Good Smile Company. On the bottom says FIgma Action Figure Series Griffith and Berserk movie. And then the bottom of the box here we do get the barcode and blah 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 blah. And then we do get a cool image of the Griffith figure. Same thing on the top of the box without the barcode though. And then here's the one side of it. And then the other side we do get another image of the figure looking pretty cool. Then the back of it does show a bunch of really cool poses you can get this messed up character into, along with some of his accessories. But anyway, that is the packaging. Let's get this figure, but to take a closer look at spoilers. Cover your ears if you don't want to hear this. One of the most effed up anime characters that I have ever seen from any anime, and he probably is one of the most effed up characters from any anime / manga that was ever created. Alrighty, taking a closer detailed look, and Max Factory did a very nice job with this Griffith. Yeah, it's a bit old. I believe these were made in 2012 or 2014, something like that. So they are an older design figure. I mean, it still does have some of the articulation they do use today, well, most of it, but the figure overall did turn out pretty good, and the face sculpts I think look great, look just like this sadistic psychopath Griffith here. The eyes both painted looking in the same direction. Very nice job on the eyes and eyebrows, and the hair looks great too. Has a very Griffithy type look to it. Very nice sculpt all throughout the hair, and we do get like some subtle shading in it, which looks fantastic. Very nice job on the hair sculpt there, and it is a soft, rubbery type plastic, so it does get out of the way most of the time when you articulate the head and neck there. The torso here, his armor looks fantastic. I love the silver paint that they chose for the armor. Get that gold piece up on the upper chest right there, which looks pretty cool. A couple of bolts or something on there, which look dope. Very nice sculpt all throughout it. We have these straps on the top connecting the armor on the arms right there. The back of the armor looks pretty cool too. We got a couple peg holes there. And then we do get another strap around the waist. Then we do have the strap here, which is holding up his sheath with the sword in it there. Then we have more straps that are supposed to connect to this armor, but they didn't connect them, so it doesn't hinder the articulation. So definitely a big plus for that. The armor on the arm looks pretty good. You see his white shirt underneath with all these sculpted wrinkles all throughout it, which look great. You see the strap that's holding the armor there. Then we get the armor around the forearm with the strap and everything. Very nice sculpt and paint detail on that. Very clean paint work so far all throughout this figure. Then we do get the armor on the legs, which look great, and these are separate pieces. They're a very soft rubbery type plastic, so it won't hinder the articulation too much. So big plus to Max Factory for that. And then the armor again on the leg looks pretty good, same with on the knee, and this is a piece that you can articulate around on the knee. And then the back we do see his pants with the sculpted wrinkles and all the straps that are holding up his armor there. So very nice work on that. And actually this isn't articulated, they're just separate pieces. I don't know why I thought they were articulated. Then the lower legs, we get the same type of armor right there. And then we do get his Griffith boots with these cowboy spurs. Are these called? I think they're called spurs. But we get those on there. Be careful not to break those. Then we get a buckle and a strap around the ankle there. We do get some nice like sculpted wrinkles on the top of the foot, which look pretty good. And the bottom, not too much going on, but overall, they really did do a fantastic job on the figure, and the sheath also looks pretty cool. But the paint sculpt, I think, definitely turned out fantastic on this Griffith, and I don't think they could have done any better of a job when it comes to detail. But anyway, let's continue on. Moving on to the accessories, we get a decent amount of pretty cool stuff included with this Griffith. So what we do get first and foremost, like usual with Figma, we do get one of their bags in case you are someone who likes to store your accessories in there. And then they did also include a stand. So we do have the base, we do have the arm here, and then they included an extended peg right there to peg into the back of the figure. So we do get that stuff. And then we also get two interchangeable heads along with two interchangeable faces. And for the faces, starting on the left, we do get a basic stern type looking face, and that is the one that does come on the figure out of the packaging. And as I mentioned before, they did a nice job with the sculpt and paint detail. And then on the right, we do get my favorite out of the two, which looks a little more like he's a bit more angry and he's looking off to the right type face. And that one they also did a nice job with the sculpt and paint detail. So we get the two interchangeable faces, and then we do get his helmet and his hair for interchangeable heads. And starting on the right, we do get the hair sculpt there, and that is the one that does come on the figure out of the packaging that we already took a look at, and they did a very nice job with the hair, with the paint, and the sculpt detail. And then on the left, we do get the interchangeable helmet, and I love the silver paint that they chose for the helmet here. It's supposed to resemble like a hawk. For those of you who never watched Berserk, and one of his faces fell on the ground, and it has some great sculpt detail all throughout it, and it's very easy to put on the faces and swap the heads. I'll show you how to do that right now quickly. And the way you swap the heads and faces is very simple. So swapping the faces on the hair sculpt here, you just pull the front of the hair out and then just pull the face off, take the new face, peg that in, and then just peg the front of the hair back on, and as simple as that. When you want to swap the heads, just pull up, and the neck joint will pop off with the hair sculpt. Same thing with the helmeted head sculpt. So all you do is just peg that one in, take the front of the helmet off, take the face here, peg that on, and then just peg the helmet back on there, and then there you go. As simple as that. And some people might not be happy that you don't see any of his hair underneath the helmet right there. I guess, yeah, it does suck. Just pretend that it's under his cape when you have his cape on. So we do get the two interchangeable head sculpts and faces, and then we also get his cape, and then we do get this awesome looking sword. Max Factory did a beautiful job with the sword. This is definitely my favorite accessory. The paintwork and the sculpt work is just outstanding on this. I like the silver paint that they put on the blade there, and then they added that gold paint running down from the top all the way to the bottom on the center right there, and it just turned out great. Nice clean paintwork all throughout it. And then the cross guard and hand guard looks dope too. I love that gold paint that they chose for it, and the handle looks pretty nice too. And there's a specific way you got to get them to grip onto it, which I'll show you how to do that along with putting it in a sheath in a second. And then we do get his cape here, and this is tons better compared to the cape that we got with Guts. They gave the Black Swordsman Guts a like fabric softener dryer sheet cape. Like, what the hell were they thinking with that? But this one is a nice piece of cloth. Wish there was bendy wire in it, but I'll take cloth over plastic or a dryer sheet any day. And then the top here where it wraps around his shoulders, they did do some beautiful sculpt work on it, how it's all like wrinkled up, and I love that pearl white paint that they chose for it as well. Then we get those gold wings on the front there. We do have a peg because it does peg into his back. I'll show you how to put this on along with the sword right now. And the way you get the cape on along with his sword, so the cape here, what I find easier is taking the head off, and then the top peg is for the cape, so just peg the cape right in there, and then there you go. Pretty simple to do that. And I do like the look of the cape on the figure a lot more than without the cape. Now for the sword, the way you holster it is pretty basic. You just slide it right in there, and it stays in there. It's not going to fall out or anything like that. But the way you get them to grip onto the sword, what you have to do is unpeg the cross guard and hand guard. What I do is I put it over the hand and then slide the handle through the cross guard and the hand, and then you got to peg it into the bottom of the hand guard there, and then there you go. You have Griffith holding his sword there. So we do get the cape and the sword, and then we finally get 12 alternate hands. And starting on the right here, we do get a pair of fists, of course, which do come on the figure out of the packaging, and then we do get a pair of regular gripping hands. Then we do get a pair of gripping hands where he's holding the sword on an angle. Then we do get a pair of open resting hands. Then we do get a pair of open palm type hands, and then we do get like a right hand where the index and middle finger are kind of open while the ring finger and pinky are closed. And then we do get another like gripping hand. See how it kind of resembles this gripping hand right here? So I think it's a duplicate because it looks exactly the same. And then we do get the hand rack as well, but we do get some very nice sculpt and paint detail throughout all 12 hands. Just personally for me, I'm not a fan of the hinge and peg wrist joint. But anyway, that is all the accessories included with this sick twisted bastard. let's keep moving on with the rest of the review, shall we? Now for the height of Sir Griffith. To the very top of his hair, it looks like he's just shy of 6 inches tall. And that area is compared to the Mezco 112 Collective Silver Knight Batman, the Figma Twilight Princess Link, the SH Figuarts Infinity War Thor, and the McFarlane Game of Thrones Jon Snow. And that area is compared to some other monster type characters, the SH Monster Arts Predator Wolf, the McFarlane Game of Thrones Night King, the 1000 Toys Hellboy, and the Mafex Interrogation Scene Joker. And that area is compared to the Storm Collectible Smoke, the SH Figuarts Sage Mode Naruto, the Mafex Justice League Batman, and the Figma Black Swordsman Guts. And I think this Griffith scales really well with the Black Swordsman Guts. And that area is compared to the SH Figuarts Awakened Warrior Super Saiyan Goku and the Mezco 112 Deadpool. Anyway, there's some quick comparisons. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review. So now for the articulation, and his movement is pretty good for the most part. We do have points of articulation that definitely is outdated, the wrist joints. But like I said, his articulation is pretty good though, but we do have 2 joints at the neck here. The upper neck joint moves forward and back only that much, so you can get Griffith to look down that much, and looks up about that much. It can go more, but the hair, of course, does hinder it. Do get a little bit of pivot there, and then of course it does swivel, and the swivel's really tight on mine here. The lower neck just goes forward and back a tiny bit, as you can see. Slight pivot, and it does swivel as well, so we get okay movement at both those neck joints. Then we just get a point of articulation at the waist, nothing at the torso, and be careful, this joint likes to pop out, but it only goes forward and back a tiny bit, as you can see right there. Slight pivot, and then it does swivel as well, so really not the best movement. As you saw, the joint was already starting to pop out, but as you can see, not the best movement at the waist there. And then the sheath is on a swivel, as you can see, so it can move up and down there. And then the arms here, we do have a very nice shoulder joint, so you can get the arm in a really good circular motion there, as you can see. And then the arms do go out to the sides a little more than 90 degrees, so that's awesome. They do go up and down. I don't think we have true bicep swivel. No, we do not. But we do have a single jointed elbow that does bend in a lot more than 90 degrees, so that's definitely good. Does swivel where it connects into the bicep, and a little bit where it connects into the forearm. And then we have the crappy hinge and swivel at the wrists here, so it does swivel and hinges back and forth, and you need to be extra careful with these joints, because with a couple of my Guts figures, a hand broke on each of them, so be very careful when swapping these and articulating them. That's why I really wish they would have updated the wrist joints at least. It's like, come on man, how hard would that have been, you know? Now for the legs here, you can get Griffith to kick forward 90 degrees. As you can see, this armor really does not hinder it at all. Doesn't really go to the back too much. Let's see if he can Jean-Claude Van Damme it, and he almost can, just shy of 90 degree. Whoops, I guess I forced it a little too much, but don't force the joint too much then. We do get a hip swivel there. Let me tuck the armor back in there. Then we do have single jointed knees that bend back about 90 degrees, and then the joint does swivel where it connects into the thigh, and a tiny bit where it connects into the lower leg. And then the knee armor is a separate piece, so you can move it around a bit. We don't have a boot cut swivel, but we do have the swivel at the ankle. The ankle hinges up a really good amount, hinges down pretty good, and then we get a horrendous ankle pivot. That is trash. That is a trash ankle pivot, man. What the hell type of ankle pivot is that? It's practically non-existent. You really don't get any ankle movement with this guy. Well, ankle pivot. You do have nice up and down movement and swivel, but the ankle pivot just isn't there, man. And there is no toe hinge, but overall, this Griffith does have alright articulation. Some points are really bad, like the ankle pivot and the waist, and we have the outdated wrist joints, but you're going to be able to get them in some okay spoilers. I like to portray my closest best friends type poses, and I'm about to show you some of them right about now. But anyway, that is my review of the Max Factory FIgma Reissue Berserk Griffith. Hope you enjoyed it. If I had to rate this figure between a 1 through 10, I'd have to give it an even A. If you'd like to know the price and where to buy this figure, I did have mine imported from Japan from Ami, but my buddy from Agelessgeeks will be getting this in stock, so you can check over at Agelessgeeks.com. If you can't find it on there, I do highly recommend going through their Instagram or their Facebook page. I will put more information in the description below. And if you would like to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell. And if you liked it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, oh well, I guess you didn't like it. But thanks for watching. I will see you later. Max Factory's FIgma lines. Would you get the one right there on the heck? Max Factory's FIgma lines. Would you get the one right there? And then the bottom of the box here, we do get the chippity choo. Infinity War Thor and the Mahwa. Oh, what the was that? And the FIgma Black Swordsman Guts, and I think this Griffiths. And then we do get some gold running down the center all the way from the top, can't talk, I guess, with that head sculpt. And then we do get his helmeted head. Very nice pivot. Whoops, I was pulling the joint out, so it looked like his articulation was a lot better when it wasn't. Let's redo this.